welcome, good evening, welcome to Buffalo Wild Wings here in Tiffin, Ohio for the Gary Goff Show. We discuss Tiffin University football and talk to our coaches, student athletes, and talk anything, everything TU football. My name is Russ Snyder, your voice of the Tiffin University Dragons, and sit alongside Head Coach Gary Goff. Coach, how are we doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. So I'm sure after the first 3 weeks of the season, you probably feel a little bit better this past Monday than you did the other two. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. It's always great to win homecoming. And, we had a lot of alumni and family and friends in town. So, we played a very good football game. And it's always a bit of excitement when you play that way in homecoming.
Well, and you played a pretty good football team, too. Hillsdale come into this game on this past Saturday at the 2-0 record. And they jumped up early. We'll go through the scoring here in just a little bit. They jumped up early, but I thought your kids held their composure well. They responded right away, and your kids really played a good full 60 minutes of football on Saturday.
We did. On both sides of the ball and special teams, I thought we did an excellent job, really for 4 quarters. And it's going to continue to take that type of play for us to continue to get W's on the board, that's for sure. Yeah,
because they're not going to get any easier. Wayne State's the team you're playing this Saturday. We'll talk about them later on here in the program. We'll preview those. But Wayne State's a team that nobody really likes to play. You know what I mean? They want to keep the ball away from you, much like Hillsdale traditionally would like to, but a bunch of just big guys playing big boy football, and it's just not a fun team to play against.
They look like the Green Bay Packers.
Right,
They're very talented, They're big, they're strong, they're fast, so we got our hands full this weekend, that's for sure. Yeah,
they're like the Dragons. They've sent a few players up to the next level as well, but let's first talk about the Hillsdale game this past weekend. The Dragons come into that game 1-1. Hillsdale comes in 2-0, and both teams leave Saturday with a 2-1 record. And I'll tell you what, there's some players for that Hillsdale team I'm pretty impressed with. Like Joe Reaverman, that's a darn good running back that they got back there running the ball for those teams.
Well, Hillsdale's a very talented team. They started the season off beating the 25th ranked Indianapolis University to start the season. So we knew going into this game that we had our hands full with them as well. And they had spread the ball around a lot in the passing game. They're very effective running the football. And then go back to a year ago and they really ran all over us on both sides of the ball. So we were very concerned, and for good reason, going into this game. But one thing we did know is we had a great week of practice on both sides. We talked about eliminating those bonehead penalties from the previous game in Davenport, and we did that Saturday. So,
and when you look at the statistics here, a word that you just use that you don't like to use very often on the program, which is run. You ran the ball very effectively this past weekend. You had 268 yards on the ground while holding Hillsdale to 81. You had to love those numbers you guys put up through the ground.
Oh, absolutely. It helps us control the game. We're winning time of possession right there. We're keeping our defense off the field, keeping them fresh. I mean, it helps a lot. In years past, we do it with our short passing game.
Right.
And so, last week we were able to do it, on the ground. So those running backs, again, that three-headed monster we got in the backfield right there are giving us, opportunities to not only move the chains, but, to get some more one-on-one matchups with those receivers.
And you got some good yardage out of your quarterback. Antonio Pickman, I think, had 70 yards in the first half, and he continued to do a good job running the ball and did a good job through the air as well, as he was able to garner 190 yards passing on a day on 22 of 34. But let's get into the scoring of the ball game. We mentioned Joe Reaverman, the talented sophomore tailback for Hillsdale. He got the Hillsdale Chargers on the board first with an 8-yard touchdown run at the 10:50 mark. So he got the ball right out the get-go and went down and put points on the board. And you're thinking to yourself right now, like, okay, well, that's how it's going to be. We've got to get you some points back. But talk about how your kids responded after that opening drive when Hillsdale came out and took an early touchdown lead.
Well, I thought defensively we did a great job of settling the guys down, making some adjustments right there because, that first drive was kind of like they didn't miss a beat. They went march all the way down the field. But, after that, we really started making some plays on that side of the ball. So did a good job settling everybody down and making some adjustments right there and, able to get some stops after that, which, again, gives our offense an opportunity to go score.
Well, Hillsdale jumped on the board first with a 7-0 lead after the opening touchdown. And you come back down and get a field goal. Jared Frisman, 43-yard field goal. Good. It's always good to get, he doesn't have a ton of experience, but it's always good to get those in-game experience kicks. And then put one through the uprights at distance had to make you feel pretty good about his efforts.
Yeah, Frisman did a great job right there. I'm never happy with not scoring touchdowns down there in the red zone, but I'm very happy walking away with some points for sure. So, JJ, he's been clutch all year for us, and he's stepping in to fill some big shoes right there since we lost Tomislav.
No pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. Very happy with that drive. We had a nice long drive. We just couldn't overcome the third and long right there, but we got points on the board.
Is it the motto as a coach end every possession with a kick, whether it's
not a punt, but with a PAT or a field goal?
PAT or field goal, yeah, something off being held off of the snap. Is how we like to finish our drives. But the score is 7-3. Hillsdale in the lead, and we're still playing in the first quarter. But the Dragons were not done in the first quarter. After a 6-play, 30-yard drive, Kyle Brunson goes in from a yard out. Frisman's kick was good, and the Dragons have their first lead of the day at 10-7.
Yeah, a great drive right there. We made some crucial plays. Brunson had a really nice run down the sideline right there. We thought he was going to get in. Kind of maybe a freshman mistake right there. He just didn't dive for that pylon and stepped out, got knocked out of bounds right there at the 1. But, play later, we gave him the ball on a dive right there, and he knocked it in for his first collegiate touchdown. So, a big moment for that young man.
Yeah,
and, he continued to play that well for the rest of the game as well.
Well, at the end of the first quarter, the Dragons held a 10-7 lead, but credit the Chargers. Their fight continued into the second quarter as they come out on a nice 13-play, 78-yard drive and get a touchdown pass by David Ritchie to Austin Sandusky, and they took a 14-10 lead. And once again, it's time for your Dragons to respond.
Yeah, Hillsdale answered right there. They, just beat us on man coverage right there, and made a great throw and catch in the back of the end zone right there for that score. But, we say all the time, we got to score points to win.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we just got to score more, right? But, we expect, teams going to make some big plays against us too, and that was a big play right there. I mean, a nice throw and catch in the back of the end zone. So.
At the end of the halves are so very important. Yep. I mean, we've seen it bite us in the rear end in the past, giving up, a touchdown late, or sometimes a touchdown and then some late in the half. But it's nice to see your kids drive down and put points on the board right at the end of the half. Always a good momentum builder to take into the locker room, not only the drive to score, but the drive to score and put you ahead. And it was a 2-yard touchdown pass from Antonio Pipkin to Jaquan Hardy. His first touchdown reception, I would think, right? But his first touchdown, which also meant the first touchdown reception. But great to get the points right before the half with 12 seconds left.
Yeah, offensively we did a great job of managing the clock right there and getting all the way down there. I think we scored with like 12 seconds on the clock, before halftime. But, again, the unique thing, we've been talking about these running backs for weeks now, but unique thing is once one of them does something, the other one's like, okay, it's my turn.
That's a nice attitude to have.
It's great. Competition makes everybody better. But, so Jaquan, we worked that play all week, and Jaquan stepped up. Pipkin made a great read and, threw the ball right there to him for his first collegiate touchdown as well.
Well, at the half, then the Dragons a 17-14 lead, and they come out for begin to play in quarter number 3, and the Dragons march right down, and this time a 10-play drive, 75 yards coming out of the locker room. And so that's a great drive, especially right after putting those points on the board before the half. You come out the start of the second half and put a nice long drive together, get you another touchdown. Again, it's Kyle Brunson, this time from 2 yards out to the 10-play, 75-yard touchdown drive. Now you have a 9-point lead.
Yeah, that kind of set the tone for the second half too.
Mm-hmm.
Did a great job of managing the clock right there, driving all the way down and scoring. We talked about that at halftime, the importance of scoring right before the half, ends, and then scoring that first drive coming out of the locker room. So we couldn't have drawn that situation up any better, and it really set the tone and really kind of the difference in the ball game right there.
And your political correctness continues here as Brunson scores the first touchdown, then Hardy, then Brunson. Now it's Hardy's turn again, and Jaquan Hardy goes in, another 2-yard touchdown. This one's a touchdown run. 12 plays, 69 yards in 6 minutes, 37 seconds. And the Dragons start to open up a little bit now as the score gets to be 30-14. But back-to-back, nice long drives. And as I said, this time it was Hardy's turn again.
Right, and I think that right there, score and drive right there into the third quarter, and or there's maybe a few seconds left in the third quarter. But I didn't notice after the game, but they said that we had 150 yards of offense in that quarter, and our defense had only given up 1 yard. To Hillsdale in that quarter, and that was a huge quarter right there for us, and very important for offense to 2 long drives, keep the defense off the field, keep them fresh, and then defense did a great job going out there and getting off the field on third down. But most important thing about that third quarter is we converted some third and longs, and then defensively we won the third down battle on some third and medium and shorts. Yeah,
that was huge. Shane O'Donnell, our sports information director, gave me that statistic right towards the end of the third quarter. Go to commercial and hear Russ. They have 1 yard so far this half. Boom, I'm right out with that as well. That's great. Like you said, coming out of the locker room, the first 30 minutes have been played, and that final touchdown right before the half is a great statement. But then to come out and just dominate the third quarter really just kind of separated you two, and kind of here we are. Now you got to come and try to catch us.
Well, it causes your opponent to become one-dimensional. And they have to throw the ball a lot more now to get back into the game. And we've been there before. We know. Right. It kind of puts you in panic mode, and you got to call a lot of different plays to throw the ball downfield, and hopefully somebody makes a big play for you to get back into the game, and that's exactly what they were trying to do.
Well, the next score came from Hillsdale, a 35-yard touchdown pass as we began play in the fourth quarter. After a 4-play, 78-yard drive, only 44 seconds off the clock, so a real quick strike from them. But it gets to 30-10. They start thinking, okay, we're getting back in this thing. And once again, your Dragons have to answer, but this time it doesn't come from the offensive side.
No, funny, we just mentioned 2 freshmen that scored their first and second collegiate touchdowns both, and yet we have another freshman on the other side of the ball, and Daylon Wynn, that made a great play. We had Jacob Murtis, our outside linebacker, covering the flats right there, caused the fumble. Daylon happened to be right there, and he scooped and scored, and a lot of excitement on the bench for that young man because he's got a great personality. He works hard every day. He doesn't know that he's a true freshman.
Okay. All right.
But what a great play right there, and that really iced the game for us.
Yeah, the final score, the Dragons get a 37-20. Big victory, 17-point margin over a very good Hillsdale team. And when you look back at the numbers, Coach, and you got a chance to reflect on it, what were some of the things that really stuck out to you as far as how your kids played that day?
Well, number one, we won the turnover battle. That's always very, very important. We didn't have any turnovers. Our defense got 2 huge turnovers right there. And the second thing is third down. And offensively, we were at 10 of 15 on third downs. Defensively, we won the third down battle. That side of the ball too. They were 66% stopping them.
Right.
So those 2 stats right there are very, very crucial in winning a football game. And then, us scoring in the red zone and holding our opponents out of the, scoring in the red zone.
Well, this week it's Wayne State, Coach. We go up to Detroit for a Saturday noon kickoff, and people have seen Wayne State play football. They know they like to run the football. They have a bunch of big guys, and we mentioned earlier it's going to be, what they want to be probably a pretty ugly football game. But talk about, I would think their offense starts with the running back Romello Brown. He's averaging 10 yards a carry, for goodness sake.
Well, last week they rushed for 400 and some odd yards, which is unheard of. So, their rushing attack is very, very good. We know that. But, at the same time, they like to, throw the ball quite a bit. They've actually had, attempted more passes than we have on the season, if you could believe that. So they're kind of a balanced attack. You might look at their stats and think, wow, they just run the football a lot. But it's not really true once you break them down. We expect them to, take some shots downfield like they have been all year. And, we got to be able to stop the run right there and, hold them, from making some of those big plays. And then on the offense side of the ball, their defense is just as good as their offense. There is no weak spots. We've been looking for them all week long. But, jokingly I said they look like the Green Bay Packers. But, when you see them every year, they do. They're very big and physical. Coach Winters has done an unbelievable job there.
He's been there a while, hasn't he?
He has. He went over and took that program over when they were in the shambles. They weren't winning any football games at all. And, 6 years ago now, he played for the national championship. So, they've been one of the best programs in the GLIAC for a long time, ever since I've been here. So, again, we know we're going to have a battle come Saturday, but, we're worried about how Tiffin University is going to play. We got to win the turnover battle. We got to, hold their rushing yards down to a minimum, and then offensively, we got to move the chains. We got to win third down battles.
One of the biggest wins probably in your coaching career here at Tiffin University was a couple years ago when we went up to Wayne State. If I remember correctly, didn't that game kind of change when one year gentlemen, now your secondary is no longer here with us. Mr. Person came up and hit hit the running back right on the sideline, and it just totally changed how that game proceeded from that point.
It did. And that was only the biggest win in our tenure here because it was just the next game. Week before we won Saginaw.
Well, I get to look back and look ahead. You don't get to do that stuff. I get to.
Brandon Person was a great player for us, obviously, and they had a running back that was phenomenal, at the time. But, that's when our program took the next step, and we started to believe that if we just go and play hard, play after play after play, anything's possible. And that's why you play the game. So, we've talked all week about that. We've already learned this lesson. We know what it takes to win football games, and just because you play hard doesn't guarantee you're going to win, but it's going to give you that opportunity come late in the fourth quarter.
Well, it's a huge game for the Dragons as we continue through our schedule. We coming into this game 2-1, and every GLIAC contest is just a bigger bear than the one the week before, and so Wayne State this week, the Warriors, it's a fun place to go up and play, and it's going to be a fun place to go up and get a W. And you talked about how your kids go up there and play hard. You got a young man who's plays hard for you, also works hard out here at this restaurant here at BW3's right here in Tiffin. But why don't you talk about who we're going to bring up? Young man who's been a stalwart on the offensive line for quite a while now.
Yeah, we're going to bring Max Pollum up. You know, I think here he's like Employee of the Month, and then last week he was one of our players of the game.
Did he name that?
So.
Did he?
Yeah, maybe. It might be the Pollum Award here at BW3's. But, no, he's been with us for 5 seasons now. You know, he redshirted and has really been an anchor on that offensive line. A great young man, comes from a great family. And, you know, we're enjoying these last 8 weeks with him because we're definitely going to miss him when he's gone.
Yeah, and his position coach is going to join us here on the program as well, too.
Yeah, John Marukin's going to come on as well and talk. And, you know, he's our offensive line coach. I'm sure he's got some good things to say about Max, maybe some funny things to say about him. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we invite Coach Marukin and Max Pollum up here to our table as we bring him up on the show. Where'd Coach Marukian go? He's around here somewhere. But, yeah, go ahead and come on up. But I'd like to remind everybody of our WTUD coverage coming up tomorrow. We have women's soccer at noon, men's soccer at 3, volleyball at 7. Then we'll be up for the Wayne State. Our pregame show will begin 11 a.m. on Saturday. You can catch it right here on TU Dragon Radio, WTUD, as well as Coast Country 100.9 WMJK. Well, we have 2 guests up here now, Max and Coach Marukian. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here on the program. Welcome in.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
All right, Max, let's start with you. What do you like better out here? You like being on this side? You like being back there in that kitchen? What's a better spot to be out here at Buffalo Wild Wings?
Definitely back here. It's a lot cooler out here and a lot less stressful.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about your time here at Tiffin University. It's a path that brought you here that's probably different than most players' paths that brought you to TU. But what was it about TU that when you were making that final decision where you're going to play your college ball that you decided to be a Dragon?
I mean, coaches came down came and gave me a home visit, which was amazing. No other coaches did that, and when I came up here, it just felt like family. You know what I mean? They did a good job of just showing me who they were. I don't think they were fake at all, and they just everything about them and everyone about the people here just made it feel like a family and a real home. So that's why.
Home is a word that a lot of the kids use when we bring them up here about what made them decide to come here, and home is a word that
Well, we knew it was a family we had to have in our program. We went for the home visit, and his mom's got some nice Amish pies on the table and everything. We celebrated his commitment by having some good pie.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So your time here at Tiffin University, you've seen it all. You've been on the offensive line for quite a while now here. You've been in town for, 5 years now? Is that right?
Yeah, I've been here for a minute. It's been a big process. I mean, back when I first got here to where we are now, everything's changed from the guys on the field, off the field. It's just the culture's it's new. It's day and night. We're really going places. So
that's what I was going to ask you about. I was going to ask you to reflect on that when you first walked in here to Tiffin and your
be nice with what you say. Be nice.
Your impressions of the program and where it is now, because I was like when you got here is when I first got here too. Yeah. So I know where it was and where it is now. I'd like to hear from your perspective.
I mean, those first couple years were rough. I mean, that first year, I mean, they threw me in their second game, and I was just a freshman. I barely knew what I was doing, and I had to go out there and play. You know what I mean? And the seniors back then, were great guys, but the culture just wasn't there. You know, the guys just, I don't know if it wasn't the drive or talent or whatever you want to say. They just didn't have that motive to, do what we do now. Because I mean, now you ask any of our guys to do something and they'll do it. You know what I mean? Put in a little extra time afterwards for film, whatever they need to do. They'll get the job done and they'll study. They'll put in a little extra time in the weight room, whatever they got to do to be ready to play on Saturdays.
Well, you and the guys you came in with and then the classes following you are the reason that the culture has changed. Is bringing in good young men who are not only good football players but great students and great ambassadors around the community. And Coach Marukin, let's talk a little bit about Max from your coaching perspective. You probably work with him up close and personal more than anybody. Talk a little bit about Max and his work ethic on the practice field and in the games.
Yeah, well, first off, Max has a great beard, and I'm really proud about his grooming style. He looks good. He combed his hair really well today.
My phone's blowing up. People are asking who this guy is. How can I get hold of it? And that's just on radio.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people, he has a face for radio. Let's not understate that.
All of us do.
Well, let me say, the thing is, he's answered the call. He's done a really good job. We switched around a couple positions, and he moved out to left tackle for us. And he's really become like a reliable guy out there. And isn't where he wanted to be. And then he come out and he's grown in the position, and he's done a good job. I'm happy about how he attacks the day. It's a learning process with all of us, and each day we're trying to learn a little bit new in football, a little bit about each other, and I think every day he comes out and put forth a great effort, and that's all you can ask from guys.
What was it about Max? I mean, his size, yes, for one thing, but what is it about him and the pies, the Amish pies, yes. But what else about it was it that you thought, hey, that kid there needs to be wearing the green and gold of the Tiffin University Dragons?
Well, recruiting, we just loved his attitude. He was a hard worker. He had kind of the characteristics we wanted in some of our players here, as far as the yes sir, the no sir, the show up to work every day, and I love the fact that after we went to his home, I knew that his parents had made sure he was extremely disciplined, because still to this day his mother will crack the whip on him in a heartbeat. But just a good family, and not only was he a good football player, but he's what you want your program to be like. He's what you would want your son to grow up to be like. That's just a good person that knows right from wrong and shows up to work hard extremely every day.
Well, you got to mind mom, right? I mean, that's just part of it. I mean, I know I have a mom, I have a wife who has kids. You got to mind mom, right?
It's kind of funny, my mom will text me or call me and say, hey, don't make me go get Coach Goff on you. And I go to practice and Coach Goff's like, hey, don't make me get my mom on you. And it's just two-way street for both of them.
What's your major here at Tiffin University?
I'm a finance major with a leadership minor.
And what are your plans on after graduation, after your playing career is over?
Right now I'm just thinking about Wayne State. I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm not sure where I'm going.
We talked about this earlier today.
I don't know where I'm going after football. So.
Well, I'm sure you can see that this young man is going to be very successful in whatever he does. You think football is something he's going to keep in his blood for a long time?
Oh, without a doubt. You can't get football out of your blood. That's for sure.
That's
Not
true.
after, especially, you got to think about these offensive linemen and defensive linemen. I mean, they don't get to show up every day and play catch and run routes and look pretty. They are actually, pounding on each other in the trenches all day long. And, that's not always fun, So they got to come, like Coach Morokin said, with an attitude of working hard every day and getting better. And, so they're not only getting, pounded on all day long, but they're getting coaches yelling at them all day long.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy position to play at all.
I've seen it. Coach Morokin, he is, Max, one of our as we said, stalwart offensive line. But talk about your group as a whole. Talk about the work they put in and what you've seen out of them after the first few weeks.
After the first few weeks, our guys have, just like I said with Max, and I think that's kind of driving force, the culture behind it. We've responded to some situations, and we come stronger from those situations. And there's one thing, as an overall unit, our football knowledge has really improved from last year. We lost a couple guys, but our football knowledge has improved in the sense of we understand the protections, we understand the run scheme, what we're trying to do, and why we're doing it, and that's what's really impressive. I'm excited about that and moving forward. I think our guys have great effort and understand, what it used to be isn't good enough, because it wasn't. We didn't meet our goals, and now they're stepping up and performing at a higher level every day, and that's all you can ask. If you have a bad day, you can't dwell on it. You got to move forward, and you only control the present, and the present controls the future. So that's what our guys have really tried to buy into that.
The most important play is the next play, right?
Absolutely.
And Max, talk a little bit about the cohesiveness of your offensive line. The guys you're out there playing with right now. There's a mixture of young and old out there.
Yeah. Well, with this group, going back to the whole from years past and now, this group has spent more time together off the field than in years past. I mean, majority of these guys have stayed over summer. We've all had cookouts. We have group chats where we just talk and just hang out randomly. If we're bored one night, we'll hit each other up, get together, play some 2K, Madden, whatever. So I really think compared to years past, all five of us are really meshed, and we're all good friends off the field. So
how big of a grill do you got to have if the offensive line's getting together to have a barbecue? My God,
we've become very good friends with Pioneer Mill. They've got a huge grill.
Yes, they do. And Max working out here at BW3s, and some of your other fellow teammates worked out here as well. Pretty cool that the new business coming to town. Not only they welcome in Coach Goff and the Gary Goff show here, but bringing in some of you kids to work here. It's got to be a lot of fun for you guys not to be able to experience this place from a working environment.
Yes, it is very fun until they step on the scale. So the guys got to stay away from the food a little bit.
Salads with the grilled chicken. Not the breaded chicken. The salads with the grilled chicken. So you've had a chance to look at Wayne State a little bit. Talk a little bit about what you've seen on the film as far as what you're going to be facing from your position.
They're really good. Their front's really good. Their D-line plays hard. Come off the ball, they'll come at you a little bit. They like to heat you up when third down, third and long. I don't think it's anything we can't handle, though. have faith in my guys and that we're going to take care of it and get the job done like we did last week. So,
what's your favorite thing about being an offensive lineman? Just getting to pound on
I don't know.
Favorite part? I don't know. I enjoy the fact that like it takes all 5 of us to get the job done. You know what I mean? We have to work as a group. We have to work together. I like the fact that when we did the job right when you see that ball busting for 20+ yards. You know what I mean? Pip can sit back there and go to every read 3 times and still make a pass. You know what I mean? So it's rewarding when you're starting to dominate.
I'm going to ask him that Saturday. Hey, did Pip have enough time to read 3 times? Come on, Max. I want more.
Yeah. Well, Coach always wants more, right?
Always. It's never good enough for him. So.
Well, you mentioned Pipkin. You mentioned like seeing the guys take off with the ball. Talk about some of those. We mentioned those young running backs. Those offensive line. You got to be in sync. Right. With the guys behind you as well. Talk a little bit about how that group has evolved as you get to go in here in the season.
Well, from the first day of camp to now, it's day and night. I mean, there's times where we'd have to look back there and say, dude, what are you doing? And now there's times where, they're telling us, like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to do this. So it's nice to see that they're, with confidence and protection and whatnot, they're stepping up and getting the job done with us.
Who's the toughest guy to go against in practice on the defensive side for the Dragons? I mean, they're all ezy for you, I'm sure.
And don't say Morgan because your roommate's sitting out here. And
no, Morgan. No, probably. I gotta say Vic. I mean, he had my number a couple times in practice this week, so I'm gonna have to give it to Vic. I mean, he gave me a couple good rushes this past week and gave me a look that I wasn't really ready for. So I gotta say Vic right now.
Well, you mentioned Morgan. I do have to say that he had the proper number on Saturday, right? He came out in 42. Is that right?
After we busted his chops last week on the show about where's it at, it's hanging above your bed or something. It showed up.
It's interesting.
It showed up. So I'm going to talk to him about that after the season.
Under the driver's seat. I'm about to introduce him so bad. Number 42 in your program, number 41 in your hearts, but I didn't get a chance to do that because he came out. I saw that 42 jersey out there on the field. But, when you look back here, when you're done playing your time, Max at Tiffin University, it's going to be something you'll be able to take with you for the rest of your life. And we had the Hall of Fame last weekend. You see some of the great football players like a George Whitfield coming back into town. And then you see some of those Dragons playing, at the next level. It's got to give you a nice feeling of pride knowing that you're part of a program, like you said, was here, and now it's here, and it's on its way up.
Right. I think that's the biggest thing, just knowing that, I helped build that culture, change that culture, build it up from when I first got here. I mean, that's something that I'm always going to look back on and, remember that accomplishment and just remember that, I helped with that process, and I really, we went through the struggle, and now, we're reaping some of the rewards. So
it's going to be pretty nice for you. Feel proud to, because like you said, he's one of the first kids you brought in here, and knowing, seeing where he is, where he was, and he's always been a big dude, but he's becoming a really darn good football player as well. And I'm sure his leadership helps out with some of these young kids on the offensive line too.
Oh, without a doubt. It is fun. Sometimes we, don't look at that or aren't paying attention to where we've come from because we're so focused on the now. But every once in a while, it seems like about once a week here of late, one of those guys will come by me and say, "Hey, Coach, you remember 5 years ago it was a lot worse, right?" We've been through all this, Coach. It's fine, and we kind of laugh and have a moment about it. But it's they're correct. We've come a long ways. We're not happy with where we're at by no means. We're still striving to get better, but we're excited. We're all encouraged because we got a lot of positive things going for us.
Well, those kids should be proud of what they've accomplished and where they've brought this program, because it doesn't get to where it is now from where it was without hard work, not only from the coaches, all your staff, but the players as well. People don't put in the hard work, it all goes for naught anyways.
Absolutely.
All right, well, anything else for Max or Coach Marukian before we let them get back to their dinner? It's probably getting cold by now. They're probably ready to get back. Max is
they're O-linemen. They finished it as soon as they put it down.
Well, I think I saw Max finish his and order a second before he came up, so I think it was being delivered out, but he probably gets an employee discount here, so it's okay. I'd like to thank both of you guys for coming out here, being on the program. Max, it's been a pleasure watching you play here for the Dragons. I'll miss you when you're gone, but keep up the great hard work, man, and just keep doing your job out there and keeping Pipkin on his feet and our running back making holes for those kids, and let's just keep winning some more football games. And thank you for being a part of it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Coach Marukian, thank you for your time, too, for working with young men like this and being a part of Coach Gary Goff's staff. It's always great to get the other coaches on out here, and I appreciate you making time for us.
I appreciate it, too. Thank you.
All right, Coach Goff, anything else here before we let you go do your final prep for Saturday, Wayne State?
No, not really. We're just excited about the opportunity this weekend. We've had a great week of practice. We look forward to getting out there and playing Saturday, and should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, make sure your coaches know. They told me already. They always remind you when you're going up there. There's no elevator. That's 72 steps up to the press box.
Coach Gilbert reminded you.
And it says, and the note says, wear comfortable shoes. So we got the Dragons this Saturday, 12 noon start. You can catch our pregame show starting on WTUD, TUDragonRadio.com at 11 a.m. with a replay of the Coach Gary Goff show. On Coast Country 100.9, we join in progress our full pregame show at 11:30. You can catch the Gary Goff show every Thursday night right out here at Buffalo Wild Wings in Tiffin, Ohio. Coach, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck this week, and let's go get him.
Thanks, Russ.
All right, he's Gary Goff. I'm Russell Snyder. This has been the Gary Goff Show live from Buffalo Wild Wings right here in Tiffin. Thanks, everybody. Have yourself a great night, and as always, go Dragons!